Hello. So I'm trying to be an author, and I'm trying to grow. This book is kind of, I'm trying to change my mindset, trying to grow. This is a pretty decent book, but just gave me a healthy shift in perspective. Um, so then I got this book to just give me some writing prompts, literally just a book on writing prompts. And this is just me writing or reading just a couple of drafts of whatever of the prompts that I got. So this first prompt was write about someone who is pretending to be someone or something they aren't. As she journaled in a diary of memories, experience, and emotion, the turning of a page still felt in the pad of her thumb. Geraldine felt eyes all around her, watching her. Her heart raced. She was sitting in a cafe. The cafe on Northwest 21st Avenue bustled with the expected business of a typical Friday morning. The sound of an avalanche of beans, the taste of brewed coffee stirring the air, the sight of passing chilly boots vibrating across the room. Geraldine's senses raged and rebelled. She took a deep breath as the caffeine of her should-have-been decaf ripped through her blood vessels. I'm okay. This is good for me. She focused on this mantra, clinging to it in a desperate bid to ground herself. I'm doing great. This is all okay. I'm okay. She opened her eyes, and the bustling around her transformed. Rather, her perspective shifted. She saw herself as just one of the many cafe patrons going about their business. She saw her own insignificance. Was she so self-centered to believe everyone were watching her, judging her, reprimanding her in their minds? Did she think herself so significant that anyone else give a shit about her, that they wouldn't forget her the second they left the cafe if they hadn't already? She realized all this in an instant, this indictment against herself, as she pled guilty, the crushing weight on her chest, the familiar pressure cracking her breastplate lessened. Okay, so then this next prompt was called a bathtub story from our little book of prompts here. A bathtub story is, well, this is what it says. In Making Shapely Fiction, the witty and wonderful Jerome Stern cautions against writing the bathtub story. A bathtub story opens with the protagonist taking a bath or occupying a similar confined space. During this bath, the protagonist thinks of, ruminates upon, wonders about, and analyzes the past, present, and future, but never gets out of the bathtub. So, a continuation of the Geraldine story continues right now with that prompt in mind. Having finished journaling, a feeling of a natural transition phase came upon Geraldine, and she decided she would continue her self-date, anxiety or anything else be damned. 2:00, she told herself, stepping over the cafe's threshold and peering at her watch, the cold late fall air stealing whatever warmth her coffee had given her. Lifting her eyes and casting her gaze about this ghost memory filled part of town, she espied Artemis Books. Oh yeah, she remembered excitedly. Bookstores are a happy place for her, where her internal noise never failed to quiet down, perhaps, like herself, getting lost in the towers and shelves of books and finding other self-contained universes to torment. She ran to the cool metal handle, seized it open, and bliss overcame her. Even though she'd bought several more books than normal recently and wasn't likely to buy something, this was a form of adventure she loved. Her feet carried her to the nonfiction section, and within this, the writing section, where eyes darted along the spines, quickly trying to decipher if any title here carried the content her heart wanted and brain knew she needed. A sharp inhale of breath and fumbling fingers, she devoured the title and scanned rapidly the pages flickering over her thumb. The digital clock on the counter struck 2:45, still an hour plus till her movie. This last pit stop before the film was another coffee shop, this one calmer. Though Geraldine was resistant to set foot in another today, she noticed a frustrating lack of tables or even chairs in most bookstores. She tucked that dream away for another day, ordered an herbal tea, and made herself comfortable in the most secluded corner of the already quiet cafe. She fished out her journal, erasers, pencil and sharpener, and her new book. Her excitement, unable to conquer the sense of obligation, she raced through the introduction of this new book and found the first prompt. What are you waiting for? If not now, when? In almost the instant she read this and copied the question into her journal, the answer hit her with a wave of emotion. So much. Okay, so that's all I got for Geraldine's story. And then another prompt was a noise or a silence that won't go away. Every step thundered across the deserted tomb, each one making Kristoff cringe as if the ghosts of the doomed were stirring at his presence and preparing to pull him down to join their shadowy grave. For this was Egypt in the year 1837, and Kristoff was no archaeologist. Each step deeper into the pyramid felt like an amassing pressure, each step confirming Kristoff's fears. He shouldn't have come here, shouldn't have disturbed the dead. The walls closed in, suffocating his flickering torch. Kristoff panicked as the darkness took him. Strange shadows seemed to stand out briefly before the ever-darker backdrop as he willed his eyes to adjust and rifled blindly through his pack. A sudden bang froze the blood in his vessels, but the smoldering heart in his chest pounded wildly as if it itself were trying to counter the noise. Kristoff did not move, could not even breathe. The shattering rebellion of his lungs broke the curse, and he once again desperately fumbled to relight. Finally, with a spark, his torch burst into flame, warming his face, blinking his eyes. Regaining his vision, Kristoff cast the torch about him. There, at the end of the passage, a light, or was it just a stray spark? He batted at it. The light did not move, except it seemed to react to the torch. That's when Kristoff noticed the second light, both now undoubtedly glaring at him. Now, even his burning heart froze over in this portal to hell. Kristoff dropped the torch, blackness enveloping him, but the eyes still smoldered. For you see, Kristoff was indeed in hell, having crossed over the second he stole what should have been left alone until the ends of time. And these disembodied eyes, belonging to some forsaken demon or ghost, having survived eternity as a refugee in the darkness, knew now only perversion and evil, and they sought to terrify, to steal for themselves. They lunged after this fool who dared to trespass in their shrine of mystery, echoes of their long-forgotten footfalls shattering along the passage walls. Something whizzed past them, only intensifying their rage. A stumble, groan, and a cry, and the eyes were upon Kristoff, devouring his own amidst screams of agony that only fed their horror lust. So that is Kristoff's tale. Again, this is just about 30 minutes of writing. And then this last one is a poem, or it ought to be. Yes, okay, so this prompt was, there is a special throne in heaven for poets who labor in obscurity. The rest of us harbor an unexpressed hope for fame and glory. You might be tempted to write for a market. You might be tempted to ride the crest of a trend. That kind of writing is about as stable and fulfilling as day trading. Write what moves you. Write what interests you. Write what frightens you. Write what thrills you. Take a cue from the poets. Bless their underfunded little hearts. So I had recently read the letters of J.R.R. Tolkien, and he does describe a similar phenomenon. So here's a little intro, then my poem, and yeah. As Tolkien said, write for yourself, and you'll always write something passionate. Through luck, practice, and progress, others will be drawn to your work because you've developed the skill and art. That is, write a story or poem you like, and the more you do, the more obvious to others it'll be why you like it. Here's the poem. And then I did revisions after this because I thought the poem was a bit cringe. So here's the poem. Here's the first draft. Bedtime, but the night trickles on. The weary artist, head slumped forward in restless snooze, has finally realized, has finally grown. Pages in scrawled journal flicker in fans breeze. The heart, the mind laid bare, enable peaceful restorative rest. A chest no longer buckling with anxiety of malcontent, ever urging the artist to create. Anything, please, wait not. The road goes ever on, with or without the artist. The only way forward is to grow, the voyage worth it for its perils. Maybe that wasn't as cringe as I thought it was. But anyway, here's just a couple revisions that I made to it that really aren't anything like the original at all. Speckled darkness beats on. Freezing air relentlessly drains. A lighted window and insulated wall, each harboring a finely stilled heart. Bitter black longs to reinfect. Frozen gale curses artificial proxy. Who flutters scrawled pages, each harboring a seed, a hope, insulated in words of dirt. That's all I had. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you for listening. I think I'll just do this however often I write something. It's the weekend now, so that is why I did this now. Finally had some time to take my shot, So that's all for the video. Thank you. If you have any advice, I would appreciate it. Thank you.